This is a second verdict from the Bundesverfassungsgericht. Within 2 years we have seen that actually moves in the right direction in reinstalling national democracy. The German High Court is very keen on insisting that it's the parliamentarily elected people in Berlin that have to decide on giving up sovereignty to the European institutions. So I think we're actually seeing a political change in Germany right now, moving in a less federalistic way than was the play in recent times. And we are luckily seeing the same movement, I think, around in Europe, where more and more politicians are responding to the very harsh critique against the European Union and the euro as such among the populations. So I'm very confident that this is going to be the new line with more national democracy for the independent states. It's not likely that in Denmark the right-wing alliance will have the great influence on the European policy by an eventual new government. There's a long tradition in Denmark that the government, regardless of being conservative or socialist, bases its European policies broad on the center of the party, so that there are broad coalitions between the conservative parties and the socialist parties. But there is indeed a tendency in Denmark, as well as many other European countries, that there's an ongoing skepsis against the European project. We have seen that in the European elections 2 years ago, where my party was the big winner, and we have seen it in many of the opinion polls during this campaign, where the old parties, the federalist parties, have done anything to refrain themselves from having a European aspect of the national campaign. So that fear among the old parties, along just to discuss European matters, is actually an indicator that they know that they have the population against themselves, and I think that will increase in the coming years, especially if the new administration that we're still waiting for will not listen to this Euro criticism. I think there is good news not only for the Danish People's Party, but for the entire Danish population, that the politicians are finally realizing that we are not in favor of a federalistic euro. We don't want to have a common currency. We don't want to have the open borders and all what else comes with the European package. That's not due to the success of the extreme left that we saw in this election. That's due to the Danish population and the development for the past 5 or 10 years, where Denmark is still a leading country with its opt-outs, and even though we have heard the promises from the coming government that they might want to have referendums on the opt-outs, I'm quite confident that if they do so, the Danish population will vote them down, and we will preserve our sovereignty in these matters.